It'll be Louisville in their all-purples, New York Red Bulls 2 in their white, red, and whites as we are officially underway from Slugger Field. We will have one of our two participants of the USL Cup Final at the end of these 90 minutes or possibly more. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us from wherever you may be watching. Buckle up. This is going to be a terrific matchup, the third straight time that these two sides are meeting in the Eastern Conference Final. Ramy Touchon, our head referee for this evening's fixture. New York Red Bulls 2 come into this matchup a 5 seed. Louisville City, the number 2. 66 points on this season, which normally would be good for first place most years, but FC Cincinnati, of course, were outstanding as Greg Ranjetsing making it known early that the penalty area is his. Trinidad and Tobago keeper hasn't posted the clean sheet numbers maybe that he would like, and Devin, really that's been probably the biggest storyline for Louisville in the 2018 season as a whole, with the exception of the coaching change, was maybe the lack of discipline on the defensive end from a consistent standpoint, but they have most certainly shored things up along the back line in the postseason as Illich able to sneak his way through, bottled up by a couple of different Baby Bulls, and it's thumped the other way.
Definitely some growing pains early on. Hackworth came in and put that 4-back system into play. You're used to seeing Paco on the left, and then Jimenez would be tucked out on the outside. Now Jimenez pitches in a bit more, still gives him the opportunity to get up and down the pitch on the left, Kyle Smith on the right. But their ability to basically dictate the terms of the game on a regular basis is why you've seen them be so prolific on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Lancaster, fantastic, but the 4-back system has been great for Louisville City so far in the Hackworth era.
Jared Stroud trying to turn the corner. Good matchup between Smith and Stroud. The New Jersey native getting the better of him, but the delivery out of play and a goal kick coming for Greg Ranjetsing. New York Red Bulls 2 had to go through Charleston and FC Cincinnati, both in South Carolina and Ohio, to get to this point, only to find themselves on the road yet again in one of the most hostile environments in the Eastern Conference. Last touch coming off Cutler. New York Red Bulls 2 will have to keep it in play. Here's Ndam. Jimenez up for the header. Del Piccolo able to get a touch for it. You can already see that New York Red Bulls 2 press, and really doesn't just stop with New York Red Bulls 2, but of course their affiliation with Major League Soccer's New York Red Bulls. It goes all the way up and down the club. It's Cutler finding Moreno. Bothered by Jimenez. No foul called by Ramy Touchon and collected by Greg Ranjetsing. And tonight's game is brought to you by UPSjobs.com. Cutler winning the header. Lima sends it forward. Barlow giving chase. Sawahi able to get there first. Here's Kyle Smith, Cincinnati, Ohio native. Barlow's first touch was a heavy one, and Dom up for the header. Such a beast along the back line for John Wolenek, and he did an excellent job, along with Ethan Cutler, Kevin Paulitz, and the New York Red Bulls 2 defense in stymieing FC Cincinnati in the conference semifinals as Cutler gets a touch to it. Last touch off of Brian Omby. Omby the hero in these semifinals with 2 goals, and his first 2 goals of the season as Jared Stroud was trying to thread the needle. Akinaga stepping forward. Moreno bodied off by Jimenez. And Devin Kerr gives the defensive thumbs up of approval.
So difficult for a defender when you're put into those positions to really lay chase and then challenge the defender right at the outside of the box, and then it moves in to throw your body in and get in front of the attacker. Great positioning.
Lancaster with his first touch of the evening. Switching the point of attack and finding Kyle Smith. Out wide for Davis the fourth. First time delivery. Lancaster's header, a glancing one. It'll fall for Omby back in, but the delivery was scuffed. And Stroud comes away with it. That was a good early half chance for Louisville. Lancaster was off, couldn't play it. And Dom, good distribution out of the back. Moreno looking to find Barlow, who's quite pacey for his size, and the offside flag is up. And tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who reminds you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program. Devin, in our conversation with both coaches, they could not talk enough about transition, but for Louisville, perhaps a bit of composure might serve them well as well.
Had to go with the transition because that was the reverberating message from both Hackworth and Wolenek, and who can go in the other direction the quickest. And if you take a look across both the East and Western Conference, Tyler, you and I were chatting about it. That's kind of what you see out of all the squads that are remaining. For Louisville, it's real easy to let the emotions get the best of you in situations like this. Red Bull will continuously press you high. They're going to put a lot on your patience meter, and whether or not you can withstand it, all they need to do is make sure they carry that composure and try and move out of the back the way that we've seen them do all season long.
Jared Stroud hit the deck, and Paolo Del Piccolo already in the ear of Remy Touchon, making sure that he's aware of what he believes to be simulation, and that was really a topic of conversation for Alan Koch in his post-game interviews after his loss in the conference semifinals to John Wolenek's side in what was a very physical matchup. Good ball in from McCabe, but Lancaster couldn't play it yet again. Nice little 1-2 between Moreno and Aguinaga, but broken up by Del Piccolo. Illich sliding it through. Lancaster might be able to get there. Lancaster is in. Cameron Lancaster sends it wide. What a chance for the newly minted single-season goal record holder to get Louisville off to a dream start.
How does Cameron Lancaster not get the best of Evan Loro? The last touch is perfect, puts it right out in front of him, could go on the right or left. He gets it on that beautiful right boot that we've seen finish so many times before. He cannot believe it, slaps the ground in disgust, should have done better.
And Devin, that's the transition we're talking about. New York Red Bulls 2 give the ball up in the middle of the field. Louisville lightning quick to play that initial through ball, which alleviates all of the pressure as Omby's called for the foul.
The transition play in general, but keep an eye. That chance came because if you look at the center backs for Red Bull, Paulitz and Ndam, they stand very high. The way that they press, they take a lot of chances trying to get numbers up the pitch. That is a look you're going to see on a regular basis that should open up for Louisville if they can take advantage of it.
Ndam. Here's Cutler. Loses it, but Aguinaga bails him out. And Jimenez gets rid of any further danger. Lancaster initially had Ndam beat for pace. Lancaster hits the deck. And he looks to be injured. We'll see if he's able to get up, and Ndam sends it away. And it looks like Lancaster's grabbing onto his left hamstring. Devin, I mean, you talk about Lancaster not getting off to a great start with not finishing off that opportunity, but this becomes a completely different story. And they're already motioning for a sub. What a turn of events. The talisman who's carried Louisville offensively, from what the looks of it, is going to be subbed off in the 10th minute. And all Hackworth can do with his playoff beard is just shake his head in disgust. Such a fickle game.
I can't believe it, having a conversation with the fourth official. Felt like it should have been a foul. It was a good shoulder charge between Lancaster and Ndam. Saw him going toe-to-toe, and fortunately Ndam just a bigger body, able to get him off the ball. And you immediately, I mean, that's the card you have to play here.
It's the only one you can play.
It's the only one you can play. I mean, you take a look down, and you would really have to start shifting things around. Ballard up top as a point man is not the move you could make. Maybe later on in the game, you might be able to move Ownby up top, or maybe even Illich. But at this point in time, you have to go with Luke Spencer. You saw him go to ground immediately, clutching that left hamstring. That is not a look, if you're a Louisville fan, that you would want to see at any point in time, yet alone 9 minutes into this Eastern Conference final. Once again, the high line by the two center backs.
Could the referee have called a foul for Ndam extending and sort of wrapping his hands around Lancaster at the top of the area?
Could he have? We've seen what's going on with the refereeing across the USL. It's difficult because he does grasp a bit, but Lancaster had overextended himself as well. You kind of reach out a bit, and then his leg pops into the grass, and that is most assuredly the hamstring injury. You saw him go right to it. Very tentative in his motions right now. And he's not one to shy away from a challenge. How many times have we seen him over his career not just get injured, but play through it? Earlier this season, separated shoulder, back with inside of 10 days. So if he's coming off, he's definitely not feeling it.
And whenever we ask Hackworth about Cameron Lancaster's prolific goal-scoring ability, his set-piece specialism, I mean, Hack always sort of deflects and loves to talk about how hard of a worker Lancaster is on the defensive side of the ball as well. And you can see even in a foot race like that, was not willing to back off Hassan Ndam, who probably has about 40 to 50 pounds on Lancaster. And obviously we don't want to speculate, but Devin, that type of hamstring injury, even if Louisville are to advance, the chances of him playing in a USL Cup final slim to none.
The biggest thing here that fans have to understand is, as broadcasters, we're put in a position you don't speculate. You don't say it could be this, it could be that. From experience, when you see a player in that situation, though, that's not a pull. Usually, it could be a very bad pull, and that's what you're hoping for, but you really, really hope that it's not a tear, because that is much further off. I mean, walking, wincing in that amount of pain, not a good thing for Cameron Lancaster.
So it'll be Luke Spencer, part of the triumvirate a couple months ago, to lead this Louisville team, to be stepping on for Lancaster as Loro punches away the ensuing free kick. And a handball on New York Red Bulls 2. And Luke Spencer, we're getting word, did not have a jersey originally. Finally was able to get one, and now will come on. And the substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great, but it's anything but great for Louisville in the opening 13 minutes. Loro again.
Keep an eye on Luke Spencer now, because you've already seen the injury to Lancaster. Now Spencer steps in, and though he went through all the warm-ups pregame, he has then sat down, body started to cool off, and is immediately being thrust into the spotlight here. Wants to make sure that he gets his body acclimated to this environment before he starts going 100 miles an hour.
Luke Spencer missed a large chunk of the middle of this season due to injury. And while it was a triumvirate coaching, Spencer, during that time in between James O'Connor and John Hackworth, was predominantly the coach who was up, who was, of course, wearing the watch, keeping track of the time, making the substitutions. But let's not forget, he was the leading goal scorer a year ago and was a huge part of why they were able to capture the USL Cup in 2017. And maybe this is the way the narrative was supposed to be written, with Lancaster going down, getting them to this point, and then Luke Spencer, who's really been overshadowed and battled with injury, maybe turns out to be the hero. Obviously, we'll have to wait and find out, but that's also been a huge part of Louisville's success. Not a big roster numbers-wise, but in terms of the quality, very deep.
He was the go-to guy last year. All season long, Lancaster dealing with injuries in and out, and really until Lancaster netted the goal in the final, it was all Luke Spencer. And since then, he's had to take a back seat to the fine form of the Englishman. Hackworth has told us quite a few times that kind of feels bad for him over the course of the season, because even when he comes on, he is in good form. Outside of the injury, just hasn't been able to get the opportunity because Lancaster's been so brilliant.
Here's Cutler, drives it towards the back post. There's a foul and a penalty. Jared Stroud taken down, and it goes from bad to worse for Louisville. Meanwhile, for New York Red Bulls 2. Hold on a second. New York Red Bulls 2 went straight over to Remy Touchon.
Del Piccolo lobbying with the referee. You're going to get another look. Ethan Cutler, makeshift outside back. That's a close one. That's very difficult because you've got Davis tracking back. He definitely clips the foot. Not with malicious intent, but you still take the attacker down. Referee has to point to the spot. Momentum starting to head towards Red Bull.
Chris Lima on top of it. 22-year-old New Jersey native. Lima slips and he scuffed it. Welcome to the USL Eastern Conference Championship game.
How many times have we talked about the struggles by visiting squads and how the pitch has affected them? Chris Lima, center midfielder, does such a great job holding things up, gets held up by the pitch. His plant foot comes out from underneath him. He clips the ball right into the turf, up over the bar. Slugger Field absolutely ecstatic that it's still 0-0.
And how many LouCity fans, after celebrating, turn to their friends and go, ball don't lie. Moreno, it was one of those in-betweeners. Ranjetsingh can see it over the bar, and well, it's been 17 minutes. We've probably only had about 8 or 9 minutes of actual play time of that, Devin. Not exactly smooth, yet there's been all the drama you could possibly hope for.
You take a look at the penalty. It is really difficult for the referee to point to the spot. But you almost have to. You got to look at it again in slow motion. Davis is not trying to challenge whatsoever. They're both coming back. But you still, whether accidental or not, you still took the player down who would have been on the end of that ball.
And it's good to see the referee make the call, because how many times will we see in this type of situation, in a big matchup with the USL Cup final at stake, a referee hold back because it's early in the game, because you don't want to give that early penalty. A penalty in the 13th minute, in the 50th minute, or in the 90th is a penalty. Here's Illich. And Dom, no foul. Louisville wanted retribution, not going to get it. George Davis IV through the defender and fouled. I'll tell you what, George Davis IV, he might as well be deemed the nutmeg king of Louisville. How many times have we seen him do that this season?
This season, did with Richmond. I mean, he's fantastic.
The past 10 years.
Technical skill that's unrivaled at certain points in time. Referee needs to be careful right now, though. It's been back and forth. The ebb and flow needs to start to calm things on the emotional level. He's done a good job controlling it, but you don't want it to get out of hand.
Delivery's low, so while he was trying to help it along, Tanari. Good work to find Stroud. This is what New York Red Bulls 2 are all about. Quickly alleviating the pressure and going in the opposite direction with a ton of pace. Louisville did well to get behind the ball. Here's Stroud. Around Kyle Smith. Jared Stroud. Delivery was blocked by McCabe. Here's Tanari. Takes a deflection and a corner kick coming up for the visitors. 0-0 in the 20th minute. Chris Lima has missed a penalty. Cameron Lancaster missed a 1v1 breakaway and also was subbed off with a hamstring injury. But other than that, you haven't missed anything if you're just tuning in. Ranjetsingh spills it again and finally able to claim it. It's a rare miscue from the Trinidad and Tobago keeper.
Was about to jump out initially and say, what a good job showing his commanding presence in the box. He's got that high stature in general, standing, they list him as 6'2", but he's every bit of that and more. And comes out and gets it, but uncharacteristically, as you mentioned, dropped it right in the middle of the 6.
Davis the fourth. Here's McCabe. Mr. Reliable into the area all the way through, but Ombi didn't follow it up. Last touch coming off of New York Rebels 2 in a corner for Louisville now.
How many times have we seen Brian Onme get on the end of something like this? Just makeshift to the back post, continues to run. He hesitates, stops. And to be honest, if he hadn't, might have been in an offside position coming off the deflection. But still, Onme does a good job putting himself in the right spots at the right time, looking for the third on the year.
They go short. Penalty. Now Louisville awarded a chance from 12 yards away, and it's Tenari who's the culprit. Devin warranted.
This is another close one. They're not making our jobs easy, are they? Wolinak not happy. John Hackworth frustrated at the first one. And their manager not necessarily agreeing with what his midfielder put himself into. Andrew Tenari had drifted right to the outside of the 18 on this quick corner by Jimenez. When he plays it in, that is soft. Very, very soft. Two guys doing battle. Arm comes over the top, but he doesn't bring him down. It's just two guys getting caught up a bit. This is not a penalty. We gave the referee all the credit in the opening 20 minutes.
And Dom went over for a little bit of gamesmanship and gets shown a yellow card. And that's just silly in a conference final for unsportsmanlike conduct when the play wasn't even happening. Cutler trying to calm him down.
Keep an eye on Illich with his penalties. He gets crafty, goes back and forth. He's gone both ways over the course of his career. Does not necessarily favor one side. Makes it that much more difficult for Evan Lauro. They'll go into these taping sessions. He will have done his homework. But at the end of the day, right now, this is going to be a mental guessing game.
Illich, 12 goals in the regular season, including one against Indy 11. Ilya Illich buries it. Louisville lead 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Championship match.
We said it was going to be a guessing game, turned into mental warfare. Illich with a bit of a stutter right at the top, quick feet. Evan Lauro could not get it correct, but he does a good job coming back across his body. That's where one of those things at home, folks, you don't necessarily see. Illich kept his hips wide open, pushing Lauro to his left, closes them just at the end, bringing it across his body, and the home squad gets out in front.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. So New York Rebels 2 give up their first goal of the postseason. And what Devin Kerr and I'm sure a lot of New York Rebels 2 fan believe to be a phantom call of sorts from Remy Touchon. So as it stands, USL Cup final will run through Slugger Field. And Dom. And this is where the games with New York Rebels 2 can get really interesting, Devin, because when they score first, then they're asking the opposition to do things they're not used to doing, and that's where New York Rebels 2 can really make you pay But if they concede first, well, hold that for a moment as George Davis, the delivery, almost sneaks through. Luke Spencer was looking for it. Last touch of Ndam, and it'll be a goal kick.
Wow. Always nice when a refereeing crew does not have an impact on the game. Opening 20 minutes, absolutely fantastic. But since the penalty, and now what should have been an easy corner decision.
Ownby, he's looking for George Davis, the 4 seconds. McCabe, here is Davis, cutting through. Davis shot blocked. It was Paulitz with a terrific defensive play. Suahi takes a mean deflection, and Dom had to get rid of it, but didn't need to because the offside flag was up.
George Davis talked about composure. How nice is this? Just waiting, biding his time. Would like to hear a call from McCabe in a situation sitting right at the top of the 18. Could have easily dropped that back, but we know the technical capability that George Davis IV has no problem whatsoever taking someone one-on-one.
Good to see Cameron Lancaster up and on his feet, but the bad news is that he's walking ever so gingerly. Luke Spencer coming on for him. It's a little bit past the 10-minute mark. Sent the other way. Spencer giving chase, but it's too close to Loro. Tenari bending it into space. What a ball for Jared Stroud. Working on Kyle Smith again. Stroud's delivery. Not his best, but certainly asking questions of the Louisville defense. Excellent back heel from Tenari. Aguinaga's shot was blocked. Can Louisville counter? Ownby. So shifty in his movements and was able to win the free kick. John Hackworth describing Ownby as somebody who just flat out allows Louisville to play different. Devin, what exactly does that mean for the veteran?
It gives you a different look. So Niall McCabe had basically turned into their left winger. Very versatile player who can give you a lot of different looks. Definitely does not possess the speed, first and foremost, that Brian Ownby does. The guy can flat out run. Put a ball out in space, ball at feet. We've seen him do it so many times. Exactly how he was successful last week. But the technical ability and the vision that Ownby possesses. The vision is a big thing, and it's not with the ball at his feet. It's the movement by Louisville across the course of their playing movements. So when the ball's shifting across, he can read that step 2-3 moves ahead of time. That's why he always puts himself in an appropriate position. Enter then, on the back end of that argument, McCabe moving into the middle. Asked Hackworth about that and said, you know, has he been the biggest surprise? He said, it's not because he's so versatile. It's because didn't realize he was going to be that great as the number 8. Thought he would do kind of a makeshift job underneath Illich, holding in that 10 spot, but he's been absolutely fantastic. And the combination of those two players, the difference in the look that it's given Louisville over the remaining part of this season has really propelled them to new heights.
Pressure from Tom Barlow. And Jetsing able to find Kyle Smith. Saucy skill to elude the defender. I can't link up the pass. Moreno shielded off by Del Piccolo. Tenari wins it. Yanez's pass is picked off. Paulitz stepping forward. Tenari, the skipper, skips his way out of trouble. Back and forth we go in Louisville territory. Finally cleared away, and Dom on a yellow card, keep in mind. Paulitz. Ownby. Working on multiple Baby Bull defenders. Brian Ownby trying to get the better of Cutler. He is dropped by Chris Lima, but no call. Stroud. Here's Barlow. Game winner against Charleston, the Missouri native. Dumped in. Deflected header handled by Ranjitsingh. And it's been encouraging from the visitors after giving up the opening goal to Illich from the penalty spot.
So far, Tom Barlow and Jared Stroud are having, not necessarily a field day, but they're having some fun on that right-hand side when they're on the left, but the right for Louisville City FC. Kyle Smith and Lex Swahi going to be very busy over the course of this evening. Red Bull definitely trying to push things over onto that left. And the biggest thing for Red Bull, when you watch the ball movement, they'll have a couple touches in the back right now, but when they decide to go, it's surgeon-like precision. It's 1, 1, 2, 2. Quick passes in and out of the channels to help get them across the field. They may go back and forth, left and right a few times, but when they go down the field, it's quite rapid.
Here's Spencer! It's 2 for Louisville! And it's the substitute, the unexpected sub, Luke Spencer, who doubles Louisville's delight in the Eastern Conference Final.
Tyler brought it up about 5 minutes ago and said that when this Red Bull squad goes down, they start to chase. You see a much more open game. They have stretched themselves too thin, and to be honest, the backside of this defense just falls asleep. Giannis drifting back into the picture, nowhere to be found. You see Kevin Pollitt trying to lay chase to Luke Spencer. Spencer, talk about reading the game well from Brian Ownby. Spencer, so smart, just drifting to the back post. The ball is put on a platter. All he has to do is wait for it and just tuck it to bed.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. And Dom taken down, and after what looked like a totally bleak start for the boys in purple, Louisville now have a 2-0 lead after Lancaster goes down with an injury, misses a 1v1, and Louisville concede a penalty. Chris Lima, of course, slipping on that ensuing pen. Louisville awarded a penalty of their own. Illich buries it, and now Spencer, the most recent development in the scoring summary. Five goals in the regular season as Moreno unable to get there because Ranjitsingh was quick off of his line. We'll have a stoppage from Remy Touchon. Ranjitsingh is claiming that Moreno caught part of his face.
We referenced the emotions that have come into this game. Highly touted in general, yet alone all the variables that have come into play early on. Penalties, the injury to record goal scorer Cameron Lancaster. Now Ranjitsingh having a word. Referee needs to calm things down, get it settled. Tension running high, coming out, and he feels like there's a bit of a nick there. You immediately see Moreno saying, didn't mean to, was just trying to jump out of the way. Tell the tape is a bit different, to be honest.
So as it stands, Louisville Eastern Conference champs for a second year, has another free kick won by the home side. And the final, regardless of the winner due to Orange County forfeiting their hosting rights, would go through Lynn Stadium. We did make a mistake earlier. It's not Slugger Field. The USL came out with a statement a few days ago saying that if Louisville are to be in the final and are to host, which is the case at this point in time, that it'll be at University of Louisville, where the Cardinals play their home matches in what's really a terrific environment where Louisville have had a lot of success, specifically in the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, that comeback they had against New England Revolution, and Brian Omi's outstanding goal was at Lynn Stadium. And it's an unbelievable environment, obviously a bit smaller than Slugger, but an intimate environment. And Devin, we watched that game together. I mean, it was loud at Lynn, and obviously there's a long way to go, as Evan Loro uncomfortable with that. But if it is to be at Lynn, not ideal for John Hackworth's side, but still not a bad secondary option.
To be honest, it may serve them better, and here's why. 2 reasons. You talk about an intimate setting. The Coopers will blow the roof off that place. Metaphorical roof, because it's not covered. But you and I had the opportunity earlier this year to walk by it, and I had seen it a couple years ago as well. It's a fantastic venue, but the playing surface is in pristine condition. That will serve Louisville very well. No disrespect to Slugger Field, but it is a makeshift field. We've seen the slip earlier on in this game on the penalty by Red Bull, and it gives them an opportunity to play a bit more, which a lot of coaches will tell you, since Hackworth has stepped in, that's probably the biggest stylistic difference. You see the boys in purple touch and go a bit more than normal.
Jimenez, excellent delivery. It's loose in front. Who touched it last? Remy Touchon says it was New York Rebels 2, and a corner kick coming up for the home side, who lead 2-0.
There's Oscar Jimenez. Another season of just massive stats from a supporting cast role. Does such a good job from set pieces. Can swing him in with the best of them.
Swing him in with either foot as well. He's predominantly right-footed. As Louisville again were claiming that they should have earned another corner, but a goal kick coming. Remember, Western Conference final tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern. Orange County and Phoenix, the number 1 and 3 seeds, to square off for the 4th time this year. Jared Stroud ripped down by Kyle Smith, and Stroud has gotten the better of Smith in these opening 37.5 minutes and wins a dangerous free kick here in Louisville territory.
Great opportunity for the visiting squad just before halftime to maybe pull back some of that momentum that was definitely in their favor right up until that penalty that went over the top of the bar. And this is what you look for as a player. You're down, you're on the road, 2-0. A set piece opportunity to propel you back into this match. Excellent opportunity for John Wolinak's squad.
Outswinger, won by Illich. Moreno able to keep it in play. Working on Omby. Tenari dinks it over. Moreno, not a bad effort at all. Ranjit Singh holds on to it. 12th minute game winner against FC Cincinnati, Armando Moreno.
He's not necessarily known for his left foot, but Tenari serves a good ball in, brings it off his chest very well. Just can't get enough power behind it. Ranjit Singh definitely had the near post covered. Try and pick out the far next time.
And that should be a card against Ilya Illich, and it will be. Got tangled up with Hassan and Dom away from the ball. And Devin, as I'm sure you have experience with this, sometimes it's not the first, but rather the retaliation that's caught by the referee.
You always get caught. How'd you know? You always get caught. It's the second look for sure. And even when that battle goes on, just Illich coming back around, letting his emotion get the best of him. There's the first one. The second one just drags him down from behind. Bit of theatrics from Ndam, to be honest. But when you're right in front of the referee, trying to make the most of it, does a good job. Almost baits him into the challenge.
27-year-old Serbian who attended Young Harris Division II from 2011 to 2014, joined that elusive double-double club, double digits in goals and assists. joining the likes of Manu Ledesma and Aiden Quinn in the 2018 season. And before that, it was Irvin Parra a year ago as Luke Spencer called for the foul. Whole lot of gamesmanship going on both sides. Cutler. It's an encouraging ball. Aginaga finding Tenari. Moreno. Cutler in for Aginaga. All sorts of time and space. Delivery is cut out, though. It's Ilya Illich. McCabe. Over 100 appearances for LouCity, including a brace in the quarterfinals against Indy 11. Look at Paco Craig, who, as always, anchoring the back line for LouCity. Stroud. Turnover from LouCity. Barlow. And Redjetson clears it away. Wanted to be safe, didn't pick it up. Big collision between Davis the fourth. And it looked like Yanez. Yanez popping back up. LouCity having a tough time of hanging on to the ball. Couple of consecutive turnovers. Lima, his pass is picked off. LouCity again struggle with it. Here's Stroud! And he scuffs it. And look at Redjetson sprinting off of his line, communicating with his midfield. Stroud's claiming the shot took a deflection.
This all stems from the high press. All 10 of the field players for Red Bull 2 are inside of the half, and it does take a deflection. Comes right off the side. Referee has got to get this in check. But that all comes from that high press that Red Bull is playing. Jared Stroud on the left-hand side. Both wingers you've seen, Stroud and Moreno, drifting in, allowing Barlow to really frustrate the back line. Yanez playing very high. Even Paulitz was about 45 yards from goal when that progression of play started.
Barlow working on Paco Craig. And Craig stops on a dime. Linking up going forward as well. McCabe, a nice little pirouette, but gets caught. Del Piccolo picks him up. Here's Niall McCabe. Foul called against Tenari and a yellow card as well. The two skippers and Remy Touchon with a meeting at the Knights of the Round Table. Tenari and Del Piccolo can't imagine are exchanging email addresses.
And just making sure his MySpace account's still active.
You still on MySpace?
No,
no,
I was never on it.
Not as Devin Kerr, maybe as somebody.
Yeah, my alias. There's some late challenges floating around right now. I felt like Yanez was actually unfortunate when Davis got stuck in a minute ago. This one late by Tenari, coming in on Del Piccolo. And he's unhappy with Tenari. Tenari trying to lobby the other direction, but he's definitely in the wrong.
We're hearing 4 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Jimenez. Barlow gets a foot to it. And stoppage time brought to you by Sullivan University. Luke Spencer with a goal on the night. Only had 5 during the regular season, but we talked about his trials and tribulations of 2018 battling with injuries. As Illich with a clever turn ends up winning the foul. Tenari can't believe it. Chris Lima's in the same boat, and another set piece to defend for the Baby Bulls.
Saw the golf clap by Niall McCabe. He liked the skill by his compatriot in the middle of the park. 1, 2, 3 little step overs. How about a little Cruyff right in between the legs? Come on, boys, let's have some fun.
Now McCabe was certainly loving it. Jimenez. First time effort takes a deflection. Loro able to handle it cleanly. And John Wolenek is furious that the offside flag didn't go up. There is the Staten Island, New York native. Had an outstanding playing career with stops with the Mestro Stars, New York Red Bulls. Actually won the USL A-League way back when with the Rochester Raging Rhinos in 2001, and then with the Milwaukee Rampage in 2002. And of course, as a manager with New York Red Bulls 2 in 2016, taking down LouCity in penalties in the Eastern Conference Finals. Lancaster actually missed one of those pens. Stroud. Moreno bringing it down. He's going to hit it. Talk about what one goal in front of over 15,000 in Nipper will do for the confidence. Moreno has not shied away from any opportunity presented to him tonight.
The type of goal as well. This is highlight reel worthy if it hits the back of the net. Tries to pull the trigger right outside the 18. He has shown some flashes in this first half that he is more than capable of taking on this challenge. Moreno, fantastic over the course of the season, and he's another one who's stepped up in some big games, providing some lethal goals, not just against FC Cincinnati, but some of the other big boys in the Eastern Conference. We're going to continue on here. Some work to do, though.
And Moreno's one of those guys who's just been with New York Red Bulls virtually since the beginning. Started with him back in 2009 at the academy as Jared Stroud slips it through. Here's Yanez. His first touch lets him down. Yanez, wow, that's clever. Stroud goes to ground, gets it right. Cleared only as far as Tenari. Andrew Tenari, blocked by his counterpart and fellow captain Paolo Del Piccolo. And Dom. Cool first touch. Here's Aguinaga. Still with it. Aguinaga.
Aguinaga wanted to bring this back across his body, but he couldn't do so. The back line of LouCity FC had a gap, but they closed it down immediately. Great defending by Paco Craig. Just continuing to let the attacker come across the box, that's fine. It is very difficult to close your hips and get it back across. Craig didn't give him the opportunity to do so.
And that's going to do it for what was a wild first 45 minutes here at Slugger Field. The LouCity faithful rise as one, knowing that they're 45 minutes away and have a 2-goal lead from another USL Cup final appearance. A penalty from Ilya Illich, a missed pen from Chris Lima, as well as a finish from a substitute, Luke Spencer, who came off for injured Cameron Lancaster. Devin, what do we make of it all in the first half?
You just hit it all right on the head, given all the circumstances that have gone on. If you're John Hackworth, the PKs, the injury, you're up 2-0 at half, he'll take it. But keep an eye, Red Bull 2, over the course of this season, 26 of their 36 games coming into this match have had 3 or more goals. This game is not over.
The third time that these two teams are meeting in the 2018 campaign, and it concludes in the Eastern Conference Final. What else is new? It's LouCity with a 2-0 lead heading into the halftime break. We're 45 minutes to having one member of the USL Cup Final.
Hi, it's Jan from Toyota. Many of you still need to be on the road right now. Toyota is here to help.
We're offering an incredible 0% on our most popular Toyotas. That's 0% on Camry, 0% on RAV4, or 0% on Tacoma. Plus, Toyota will defer your payments for up to 90 days. And if you need service for your current vehicle, our service centers remain open.
We're here for you. Contact your local Toyota dealer to see how they can help. Toyota.
To our Kroger associates, for the long hours and late nights, for the miles traveled and the shelves restocked, for making a difference in our customers' lives, for doing so much more than your job. Everyone at the Kroger family of brands and our customers say thank you. In a time when daily life feels a bit uncertain, your hard work is keeping America fed. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Front loader odor. You know that smell when you open your funky front load washer? But at GE Appliances, we've engineered the first and only front load with an ultra-fresh vent system with odor block. Equipped with vents that help keep it dry and antimicrobial technology that protects against bacteria. Basically, funky to fresh, so you can shut the front door.
No one says that.
Another way we make good things for life.
No.
Since 1923, COSAIR Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles. So they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support COSAIR Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
Look at the possession statistic. That is rare for a game not only that New York Red Bulls 2 is playing in, but a game that they're losing, dominating 61-39. But again, it's that purposeful possession, and we saw a lot of that New York Red Bulls 2 pressure come to fruition at the end of the first half.
Red Bull has to be careful now because you have no more room for error. The margin is gone. 2-0 is still doable. You get to 3 against a great back line like this for Louisville, not going to happen.
Underway in the second half, 45 minutes ahead. If it stands, LouCity, Eastern Conference champ for the second year in a row, and headed back to the USL Cup Final. Illich and Spencer, the goal scorers for the boys in purple. Stroud a touch. Both of these teams have known nothing but an enormous amount of success since coming into fruition in 2015. Spencer's hit, cut out by Cutler. And Devin, since 2016, when LouCity did not get a win against New York Red Bulls 2, Louisville have gone 15 goals for, 9 against, and have not lost to John Wolinek's side. Yet they remain these bitter rivals in the postseason as Davis IV trying to keep it in play and not able to do so, and goes crashing into the advertisement stanchions and is still down. And tonight's game brought to you by UPSJobs.com.
The tides have definitely turned for Louisville and Red Bull 2 in this situation. First 5 meetings, chalk it up as a W for Wolinek's squad. But since that fateful night in 2016 in the PKs that we're coming to, they have not been able to get in the W column, and there have been some hard-fought matches. You take a look at the ones this year, the 6-4 back and forth track meet that turned into the Cameron Lancaster show, and then the 3-3. And the 3-3 was a big one because Louisville really thought they had an opportunity to go out there and get a good victory. That wasn't the case. Red Bull, they just do not go quietly into the night. Expect the same this evening.
Here's VisionWorks what to look for as we're already into the second half of play. Devin, what do we got?
Yeah, don't panic for Red Bull 2. We've already alluded to that. they have no problem going toe-to-toe with the best of them, and definitely not an issue scoring goals. But for LouCity, you have to remain calm and just maintain the composure, keep doing what you've done. At some point in time, you'll probably see a defensive move by Wolenyak. Hackworth.
Barlow. Easy work for Jetsing in the end.
We start going back and forth the managers, I start confusing myself. And that's the biggest thing here is at some point in time, you'll see some movement. I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's an offensive change, but defensively it can help out if you see the likes of a Richie Ballard come into play and bring one of the guys off up top, probably Spencer.
McCabe, and Lauro parries it away. A stinging shot from the Irishman.
But until those changes come into play to allow the press to expose a bit more, Niall McCabe feels like he's got some work to do, pulling the trigger from about 30 yards out. Great save by Evan Lauro. Nice full extension, pushing it to the side. It's a lot to ask of him from that distance. He did well.
You saw John Hackworth coming into the foreground in that shot. Our crew doing an outstanding job. Jimenez was met by Barlow, and it needed to be. Spencer was coming into the area with a lot of pace. Cutler helping it along. Referee says play on, or at least for the time being, no advantage seen. And a free kick for LouCity.
That's Marino's second one right in front of the referee. Had the late challenge early in the first half, and now this time getting stuck in. Don't expect him to be very long-winded anymore. Going to be on a short leash with the ref.
Jimenez, won by Del Piccolo. He was met by Barlow as well. Illich. Davis the fourth. It's too close to Lauro. Lauro had not a lot, but a couple of key saves against FC Cincinnati. Remember the one right in front of the Bailey. The kick save was right out of the top drawer.
That's what Evan Lauro can do for you. He hasn't been asked much of him over the course of this postseason, but he does have those glimpses where he can step up when need be. Again, opening two squads, Red Bull has really been able to do whatever they wanted to so far. Keep an eye with the referee. If things continue this way, you're going to see more cards start to fly.
Illich is on a card in Dom, as well as Andrew Tenari. As we'll get another look at the physical play. WWE.
Didn't realize we were giving piggyback rides.
Here's Yanez. Tenari. Lima. Sliding it through for Stroud. It's tight work from Red Bulls too. And finally dealt with by the LouCity back line. Well, if there are two things you can say about New York Red Bulls, just as a club on the whole, they're going to be extremely technical, and they're going to come at you with pace, and you've seen both of that tonight.
You see it at every level for them as well, all the way down through the academy system to the senior squad. And they have so much talent, just in general, all over the pitch. 6 players for Red Bull 2 have 6 or more goals. 5 of them are on the pitch right now. The only one not there, Brian White, who has gotten the opportunity to play with New York Red Bull.
Moreno furious with Remy Touchon.
He doesn't necessarily agree with the referee. You're going to get a much better look now. Moreno stepping up. It's a bit light. You're still going to call a foul, but
Moreno out of the infield and into open territory. Aguinaga. Good delivery in, and Ranjitsingh, what a save! Feline reflexes, Tom Barlow denied. Ensuing corner, Tenari on top of it. Stroud sitting right in front of Ranjitsingh. Here's the captain, Tenari. Aguinaga called off. Yanez keeps it low. Illich got a piece of it. Ombi helping it along. Aguinaga around a couple different LouCity defenders. Tenari, delivery blocked by Jimenez. Cutler, not his best delivery, falls for Yanez. Tenari has become quite busy towards the byline, cuts it back, it's excellent work. And the shot scuffed, but it's more encouraging play from the visitors.
interesting in the first half, a lot of movement on the left side, this time shifting over to the right. Andrew Tenari very active, trying to get involved with Armando Moreno. We've referenced so many times the technical capability of all these players. Good display by Tenari.
And it'll be Caceres coming on and replacing Aguinaga here in the 55th minute. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. Caceres with 3 goals on the season, making his 26th appearance. Nice little 1-2 between Ombi and Illich, and Dom stepping forward. And Devin, anybody who's been watching the USL for the past couple of years knows better than to write this game off. You can almost say that it's a foregone conclusion. There are more goals left in this one.
More cards, too.
The winner on to the USL Cup final. Smith. Left-footed shot straight into the Coopers.
Davis would have served himself better if he brought his run to the outside. Instead, he stayed on the interior, almost closed down a bit of the space for Smith to cut in and hit it. Don't mind the look, but if he makes that run early, it enables him to have 2 options instead of just the one.
Caceres fouled. Goes quickly. Tenari turns out of trouble. Moreno. Oh, how on earth did he get that to Tenari? Tenari wiggles out of trouble. Stroud. Yanez. Not a bad ball, but nobody was there for New York Red Bulls too. Jimenez breaks up the pass from Cutler. Now it's Brian Ombi the other way. Is the counter on for LouCity, looking for a third? The answer is no for now.
This is turning into quite the heavyweight title fight. Red Bull 2 trying to find a way to get back in. You can see jabs coming from all over the pitch. Haven't really found their way through. LouCity just biding their time, waiting for that one counterattack to be that knockout uppercut punch.
Goals in last year's Eastern Conference Final here at Slugger, scored by Brian Omby and Junior Flemings. Flemings got his early in the second half as a response to Brian Omby's 11th minute opener. And then, of course, extra time. Saw no goals scored, and then LouCity came away victorious in pens. Richie Ballard scoring the game winner. Davis the fourth working on Yanez. The veteran ran out of play.
George Davis IV knows it, a bit frustrated with himself, and rightfully so. Seen a lot of the technical ability on display by Red Bull 2 this time. George Davis IV getting in on the act, right to the byline, just couldn't release it early enough.
Look at LouCity drive forward the other way. Jimenez leading the charge, out wide for Omby. First time delivery, broken up by Ndam. Only as far as Illich. Jimenez gets it out from underneath his feet, but Red Bulls come away with it. Tenari in for Barlow. Could see Ndam just making sure that his footing was right when clearing that with Luke Spencer in the neighborhood. Just dinked over the top. Yanez beat to it by Davis IV, and then it's Kyle Smith coming over in defensive support. Spencer trying to hold it up, and Dom, good defensive presence. Cutler will regain possession. Colgate University product, good header in, and it's Tom Barlow. The deficit cut in half by New York Red Bulls 2. And it's Tom Barlow yet again, the hero against Charleston, makes it a 2-1 affair here at Slugger. Game on.
The makeshift outside back, Ethan Cutler, moving from the midfield. Just saw the ball played out on the challenge from Ndam. Just waiting for his striker up top to show him a bit of a window. Makes a great run to the near post. Saw it just moments ago. Ranjetsing able to come up with the first save. Second time around, the visitors get to within one.
Postseason and regular season, Tom Barlow, his 10th of the season. And Devin, he might make that look easy, but it's anything but. Running at the near post and then able to glance it at the near.
The level of difficulty on the save, on the first one by Ranjetsing, much higher on the Richter scale. Just your ability to crash the party on the near post and then not only get a deflection, but get enough pace behind it to beat the goalkeeper. First time around, Ranjetsing got it right, but this time had much more to deal with. There was a creeping run on the back post, didn't really know it was coming from, and Cutler just put it on a platter. Fantastic finish by Tom Barlow.
John Wolenek beside himself. You mentioned Cutler on the assist, Devin. And when they drafted him, it wasn't about position because he was more of a striker or a winger. And he told us that they just simply drafted the quality that they saw in Cutler. They knew it was going to be a project if they tried him out at outside back. He has a terrific right foot. And like Jared Stroud, who's also from Colgate University and an Eric Ronning product, they thought that it was probably going to be a year or two before they started making the contributions that they have. Cutler was offered a contract with New York Red Bulls, still playing with New York Red Bulls too, as Wolenek continues to have a conversation with the fourth official. But both Stroud and Cutler not coming from a big program by any stretch of the imagination in Colgate of the Patriot League, have been invaluable to this New York Red Bulls 2 side over the past 2 years for Cutler, and Stroud just in his rookie season.
You're starting to see that more over the broad scale of things. The landscape that is United States soccer has really started to drift. An opportunity this year to chat with quite a few college coaches, and they'll tell you that the playing pool has broadened. It's not 3, 4, 5 big name schools. It's no longer Indiana and North Carolina. You've got all of these programs who not only get quality players, but they're able to nurture and develop them to push them to the next level. And then credit to Red Bull for recognizing the talent and then giving them that extra jolt.
And it's going to be Speedy Williams coming on and replacing George Davis IV. We were told this substitute was going to happen before the Barlow goal. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Devin, if you're John Hackworth, he obviously did it, but if you were in his shoes, would you have left the same substitute on after Barlow gets the goal?
It's difficult, isn't it? But almost assuredly, you'll see McCabe move to the outside now as Speedy comes in to occupy the space next to Del Piccolo. It's a hard one to answer because of...
Spencer takes it away from Ndam. Spencer towards the byline, and it's Ndam with a great recovery. Evan Loro certainly appreciative of the efforts from his big center back, but Luke Spencer has been a nuisance along that back line.
Exactly where I was going. It's hard to answer because of what this man can do for you. If you bring on Richie Ballard, with all due respect, he can give you a lot of pace and he will lay chase, but his ability to hold up play and challenge people in a one-on-one situation cannot compare to Luke Spencer.
You actually just saw Niall McCabe getting a little bit of instruction from John Hackworth at the bottom of your screen. As the header from Spencer, I don't know how that ends up over the bar. He was less than 1.5 yards. McCabe back in. Now it's LouCity threatening after the Barlow goal for New York Red Bulls 2. Stroud helps it along. Tenari, boy, how shifty is he? Moreno, fouled by Paco Craig. And it's going to be Mustard for Craig. Shown a yellow here in the 65th. Get another look at that corner from LouCity.
He out jumps this ball. He gets up above it. I mean, he is above it. He's gone so high, he can only get his shoulder on it. Fantastic stuff from Luke Spencer and the shift that he has put in. Definitely not thinking that it was going to happen 10 minutes into the match with Lancaster going out injured, but he's done well.
It's a wasted set piece for Red Bulls 2 as Ndam gives it away. The pressure from Red Bulls still there, though. Caceres came on as the first substitute for John Wolenek. Out of the reach of Tenari, cleared away by Suahi. And Dom and Spencer continue to go at it. You talk about a heavyweight matchup there. Of course, we should note Speedy Williams, who came on for John Hackworth, won the 2016 USL Cup with New York Red Bulls too, and has since enjoyed his time here in Louisville. Paulitz who's down. Grabbing onto that left ankle. 22-year-old from Morganville, New Jersey. Wake Forest product.
Omi tries to go for the turn here. It just gets out in front of him a bit and follows through as he tries to collect himself. Paulitz did a good job stepping up from that center back position. Again, you're regularly seeing Kevin Paulitz and Hassan Ndam, the two center backs for Red Bull 2, playing a very high line. It can get them into trouble, but it also gives them the ability to compress the field and counter transitional play. The key to success tonight. Red Bull trying to get back in it.
It's just dumped in. Barlow can't win it. And a goal kick for Gregory Jetsing. A little more than 20 minutes remain. Louisville, as it stands, onto a second consecutive USL Cup final and second consecutive Eastern Conference championship. If Louisville are to win the final, regardless of the winner of the Western Conference matchup, will run through Lynn Stadium at the University of Louisville. Suahi gets out of trouble, but Devin, you're shaking your head.
You're Louisville, you're playing with fire in that situation. Push the ball down the field, let them reset their line. Red Bull is going to come at you with a lot of different options. You just saw it right now. There's no reason to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that.
Out of the reach of Omby, Cutler gets a foot to it, the foul against Omby. Devin sitting in here wagging his finger, as is the rest of the crowd here at Slugger Field. And Brian Omby's shown a yellow card, and Devin, you said it, a lot more cards to be shown.
They're coming, and they're coming with successive rapidity. This is a hard one for Brian Omby when he goes to get stuck in, because it's not a bad challenge. The referee's judging him by the way that his foot was positioned. If you go in there with your foot open, it's not an issue. When you come in, quote unquote, studs up like that, that's when the referee starts to get involved.
Over the top, cleared off the line by Suahi. Ranjetsing mistimed it coming off of his line. It remains with the visitors. Caceres, wrong foot's McCabe. Caceres still with it. Taken down, but no call from Remy Touchon. Spencer brings it down. Has Ndam beat for pace. Waiting for the cavalry to arrive. But it's Ndam who wins it and is fouled.
His first touch by Luke Spencer just before was silky smooth, and then he turns it over. Not the worst foul to give up. And Dom, again, seen some, I'll say, Tony-worthy performances so far. Not necessarily at the Oscar level. No, not yet.
It's off the backside of Tenari. Cutler steps forward. Lima trying to win it back. Omby sees his touch go as far only as Ndam, who is on a yellow card. As is about half the players on the field right now. Yanez, Tenari skips past 2 defenders, but he was offside.
Andrew Tenari has really grown into this game.
And how?
Quiet early on, one-on-one all night long, especially in the second half. You've seen him start to take over this midfield. Very difficult for Del Piccolo, Speedy Williams, Illich when he's stepping back to keep an eye on him. And that's what they give you. So many different looks for Red Bull 2. Louisville City do a better job solidifying themselves on the defensive side of the ball.
A lot of space for Louisville going the other way. Here's McCabe, closed down quickly by Ndam. He is deceptively fast, Hassan Ndam. And he's jawing a little bit with the Coopers.
The Cameroonian has got some kind of first step. He just gets out and goes. Top end speed, not the best, but he gets that extra little push just before McCabe can get down in. Good stuff by Ndam.
Well, all he really needs to do is get there so he can at least put a body or a hand on the opposing player, because at that point, it's over. It's just a strength match, and he's always going to win it. Our producer, Sharni Yerke, on point with the statistics. 6 yellow cards, 33 fouls committed in this game so far. And still a little less than 20 minutes remaining. Omby. Tenari sees it taken away. Kyle Smith linking up with Paolo Del Piccolo. Now it's Niall McCabe. Great little ball through. Speedy Williams! against the club that gave him his first USL Cup championship. Makes it a 2-goal lead yet again for LouCity. It's 3-1.
You can bet when John Hackworth made the change to bring Speedy Williams on and close down some play in the middle of the field, he did not expect his Jamaican to bury something in the back of the net or in that fashion. Speedy Williams, super clever, drifts to the back post and just waits for the ball to be put out in front of him. He hasn't found net on a regular basis, but what a time to get your second goal of the year.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, his lone goal coming in a 3-0 win at Ottawa Fury way back in the dog days of July. Unexpected, to say the least. Speedy Williams, the third goal scorer for LouCity. How will the visitors respond down 2 goals yet again? Encouraging play from the home side yet again. The defending champions really flexing their muscles now. Oh me. Williams, is there a second? Oh, what a hit! And it surely sends LouCity to the cup final now. Speedy Williams, do your thing, boy. 4-1.
Gonna have to talk to Speedy Williams. What's been going on? Change his diet? I mean, are you kidding me? 20 yards out, unleashes. The ball does not even move. This thing is hit with such velocity and conviction. Evan Laurel can do nothing about it. 2 goals, 2 minutes, icing on the cake. Louisville almost assuredly in the final.
Speedy Williams doubles his scoring production in a matter of minutes. The goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. What a turn of events. Illich. It's cut off by Cutler. Well, Devin, I posed that question to you right after the Speedy Williams substitution took place. Whether or not Hackworth should have kept the substitution after Barlow scored the opening goal for the visitors. I think Speedy answered it for us.
He was more than happy to put that argument to rest. Speedy Williams, fantastic, and not necessarily known for his offensive prowess that we've seen tonight. I mean, we've seen him pull the trigger from distance, but for him, it's not even right place, right time. Just read the game very well. He's done such a good job stepping in and providing that spark on the offensive side of things. Louisville had gone a bit dormant in the second half. Red Bull making the most of their opportunities. They just couldn't close things out, getting into the final third, but not finding the back of the net. Thought that Barlow had really given them the chance once they got to within one. But Speedy Williams writing a whole new chapter in this great rivalry.
Even at 3-1 for LouCity, it didn't necessarily feel comfortable because it was starting to feel like the 3-3 game that they had played earlier in the year. And New York Red Bulls 2 with a furious comeback in the second half, but sometimes a moment of individual brilliance can take you a long way, and Speedy Williams providing just that for the champions. And he has helped them in more ways than one to have them an opportunity to compete for yet another USL Cup.
Definitely a tall task for Red Bull 2. John Wolenak gonna have to pull a special rabbit out of the hat on this one, but they have shown that over the course of a match, they can come back 7 times this year. They've been able to bag 2 goals in the closing 10 minutes. They're looking for 3.
Long-range effort from Jimenez into the Coopers. And this was about a year ago. USL Cup chance in 2017 for the first time in club history. After falling short in the conference finals 2 years in a row, dating back to 2015 against Bob Lilly and the Rochester Rhinos. And then, of course, 2016 to New York Red Bulls 2. And of course, Louisville will join Swope Park as a side to reach back-to-back USL Cups. As Niall McCabe would have issued a yellow card. And Louisville will be the 4th team to reach 2 USL Cups, following Orlando City in 2011 and 13, Harrisburg City Islanders in 11 and 14, and Swope Park Rangers, of course, in 16-17.
Don't forget, this is their 4th Eastern Conference final. You're looking at a dynasty in the making easily. And for the organization to have so many moving pieces and turnover in players, to consistently rebuild, get the core components, and come out every single year and make their mark on a league is incredible.
Smith, Illich, here's Omby, it's blocked in front, Omby again, it's 5. They're running away with the Eastern Conference title and making a statement to the West, saying, bring it on, it's our trophy.
This game just got away from Red Bull 2, a defeated look by their manager. And this unselfish 1, 2, 3 touches right at the top of the box. Nobody willing to pull the trigger. In steps Brian Ownby. It's his 3rd goal in 2 games, 5 for Louisville, 4 Eastern Conference finals, but most importantly, they're looking for that 2nd championship.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. Well, given the recent history in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think anybody could have predicted a 5-1 scoreline, and we still have a little more than 10 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. And we're getting word that Sean Tosh is going to come on and replace Niall McCabe, who, of course, was just shown a yellow card not too long ago. Yeah, Niall McCabe will come off to a warm round of applause, as he always does. It's the last time he'll step foot on Slugger Field in 2018. Because barring the comeback of all comebacks, USL Cup Final will be at Lynn Stadium on Thursday, November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Niall McCabe did quite well for his squad tonight. Everything his manager wanted and more. Started at the 8 in the middle of the field, next to Del Piccolo, tucked right underneath Illich, and then moving outside once the substitution by Speedy Williams was made. Good stuff right there with the Jamaican stepping in, but Niall McCabe, just such a versatile component that has really done everything asked of him. And now just letting him get a break. Again, on that yellow card, wouldn't want anything to spill over and ruin his chances in the final. Ackworth makes the change there, up 4. This is, like you said, Tyler, not 100% over, but stranger things have happened.
Have they?
Oh, yeah.
7 minutes, 4 goals?
I tell you what, when I was 17 years old, and we'll get back to that.
Here's Jimenez interrupting Devin Kerr, right on point. Speedy Williams. Oh, what a ball for Illich. Ilya Illich still with it. And Loro punches it away. They're just putting on a show now.
He had trailing runners as well. Probably should have hit this first time, to be honest. A bit dramatic by Illich, but never shy in that situation. One-on-one again, and Red Bull continuously trying to find a way to get any sort of hope whatsoever. Wouldn't have ended up in the back of the net. Laurel just pushed it aside to be safe.
Jimenez gets all the way through, handball. Well, for New York Red Bulls too, this will be a very sour way to end 2018. But on the whole, knocking off the #1 seed and the Shield winners in FC Cincinnati, starting off the postseason by going down to Charleston and picking up a 1-0 win, and proving really that regular season, as long as you get into the postseason, anything can happen, because this is a side that really up until the month of September didn't have a road win. And they come away with early October.
Yep.
They come away with 4 road wins, including their wins against Charleston and Cincinnati in the most hostile environment in the USL.
And they beat the Riverhounds in the last game of the season at home, but still, you beat 3 of the top 4 teams.
It's unbelievable. And had this game gone to penalties and they had lost in penalties, it might feel a little bit better. But because the scoreline now reached 5 and could potentially be more, they'll feel like the season was a loss. But it's anything but that. This organization, the club as a whole, does such an excellent job. And Devin, I've said it to you, from top to bottom, if you start with New York Red Bulls at the MLS and then their affiliate with New York Red Bulls 2 here in the USL and even the Academy, the success that all 3 of those have had over the past 10 years, show me a different club that's had more success on the whole.
It's quite difficult to do, especially when you bring in the different tiers. When it comes from New York Red Bull 2, all of their academy squads consistently finding themselves in the topic of conversation at the national level. In talking with John Wolenak, he was quite proud of the vetting process that they do from an organization and pushing not just players, but coaches into these opportunities to help a squad out. He told us the game earlier this year, June 30th, they played Louisville. That was the 3-3 tie we talked about earlier. Felt like that was the catalyst and the springboard they needed. Was very proud of how they were able to come back and get a result there. Since then, they have gone 10-3-7. Goal differential has been double digits, astronomical play, and they've done it versus some big names in the Eastern Conference, and it just goes to show you the quality, not that they bring each and every season, organization-wide in its totality, fantastic, frustrating finish to the year, but they need to hold their heads high.
Barlow's delivery straight into Kyle Smith. Sean Tosh gets rid of it. Tenari looking to salvage some pride. It's a good effort. And here's tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. Not necessarily a soccer move per se, but some pretty good dance moves.
A lot of times we like to go after poking some fun here and there. Jimmy McLaughlin no longer has to say about the best dance moves, but I bet you big Joey Farrell out in Phoenix has an idea of what he would do in a goal celebration. Speedy Williams doing a little bit of a Jamaican Mamba. Fantastic stuff from the midfielder since he stepped onto the pitch.
2 goals in 2 minutes for Speedy Williams after only scoring 1 during the regular season. 73rd and 75th minute strikes, and the first one really turned this game around for LouCity because New York Red Bulls, too, more than a few times was threatening, and it looked like all the momentum that shifted to John Wolinek's side.
This game, this matchup, 22 goals in 3 matchups this year. That's nuts, insane. But remember, again, this game was 2-1 hitting the 73rd minute until Speedy Williams decided to force his hand on this match. Red Bull 2 had started to get back into this match. Andrew Tenari had basically taken over the entire center of the park. Louisville looking for answers. They found him in the likes of Speedy Williams and Brian Ownby.
Stauffer comes on and replaces Ethan Cutler. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. Stauffer actually a Kentucky native from Owensboro and attended Creighton from 2014 to 2017. Now I'll ask you this, Devin. The final will be at Lynn Stadium at the University of Louisville on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Louisville will await their opponent, which will be decided tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern between Orange County and Phoenix. There's no stoppage time to be had. As in Dom sends it away. Look at the watch from Ramey. Tuchon full time. LouCity back-to-back Eastern Conference titles. And they'll have a right to defend their throne in 2018. 5-1 is the final here at Slugger. Speedy Williams came on and made more than an impact. He made a statement. 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Jamaican, who only had 1 goal in the regular season. John Hackworth takes over for James O'Connor. Past the halfway mark of the 2018 campaign. Steps into an unfamiliar situation, but brings LouCity and the Coopers and the rest of this terrific organization to a very familiar place, and a place where, quite frankly, they belong. The USL Cup Final, which will be played at Lynn Stadium, November 8th, ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's another historic season for LouCity, regardless of the result on Thursday night, Devin. What do we make of it all?
With the acquisition of John Hackworth, fans, organization-wide, and critics were very quick to jump on his back about the formation changes, moving into this hybrid 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, going to the 4-back system. How do you like me now? Look at what he has done. He has done nothing but continuously push this team into the opportunity to have great success. Everything he has asked from his players, they have answered. They've got 1 more match to get done and show that they really want to be a dynasty in the USL. But tonight, the 90 minutes, fantastic performance, masterclass all around.
Well, Speedy Williams' teammates were trying to cool him off, but they still have 1 more game to go. LouCity, Eastern Conference champs for a 2nd year in a row. We'll put a bow on it when we come back. There it is, LouCity, back-to-back beasts of the East.